It should be it, without an apostrophe.
Well, Mo Thermodynamics, I really do appreciate you pointing out that I was wrong. And I totally did that unintentionally. Good morning. How the hell are you? Hope you're going to have an amazing day. Welcome to yet another episode of SMG Viewers Comments. It's been a couple weeks since I've done this, and I'm just kind of doing it at my own pace right now. I'm kind of slowly getting back into the swing of things. I'm happy to report my wife's recovery is going well. She's becoming more and more independent every day, which is going to leave me more time to create content and just generally make awesome videos for you to watch. However, I want to try doing things maybe a little bit differently here with viewers' comments. For the longest time, I did an episode a week after week after week after week after week for about 10 years because I felt compelled to do it because it was that certain day of the week. I don't know if that's actually the smart thing to do right now. Last viewers' comments I did got nearly 70,000 views, which is kind of a record for that show. So I'm going to try kind of doing them just when I feel like it and have fun with it, because I feel I should be doing this show to have fun and help you out, as opposed to just arbitrarily putting a viewers' comments out every week just to have a video on it. That's how I'm going to try things for the next little while. Please let me know what you think, whether you would rather have an episode of viewers' comments every week, or if I space them out a little bit and just have a higher quality episode. I want to hear what you think. Anyway, enough of my philosophical yapping. Let's get to your comments and questions right now.
To be fair, ordering from Guitar Fetish or Sweetwater as a German is the same major headache.
Hey Yoshi, thanks so much for writing in. You know, I sent that Harley Benton review video to Henning, and he was probably the only person in the entire world who didn't like that video. And of course, I'm talking about the video on this guitar here. This is the new Harley Benton ST Modern Plus Ultra. It's the Tom DeLonge Stratocaster, and it is absolutely freaking brilliant. This is not only the best Harley Benton I've ever played, this is probably the best guitar under $500 I've ever played. Seriously, it is just absolutely wicked. And that's following up this guitar video that I did even a couple weeks further back, which was the Guitar Fetish Steve Brown guitar, which is also absolutely phenomenal. It's a wonderful time to be a guitar player, that's for sure, because these things are just freaking absolutely amazing. And this is like $350, this is $305. You really can't go wrong. The big issue really comes down to shipping and how you're going to get it to your house. Here, yeah, that's a great point. If you want this from Harley Benton, they don't have it in the Reverb store, so you're going to have to order it from Germany. But if you're a German and you want one of these, the shipping's going to be astronomically expensive as well. And that's one thing Henning said. He says, you didn't mention the Guitar Fetish shipping to Europe. I'm like, okay, that's a good point. Shipping Guitar Fetish even to Canada is going to be a major expense. For those of us who'd want one, we're looking at, $180 to ship to Canada. Suddenly this guitar becomes way less affordable. Whereas you can get one of these Harley Bentons and ship it to Canada for $80. Hilarious, isn't it, that you can get a guitar shipped from Germany cheaper than you can from the US? I wish somebody would please explain that one to me. But when it comes to doing discount guitars on the show, I'm going to try and figure out the shipping for Europe as well. That way you don't feel left out either. Anyway, thanks for bringing up that point.
Wearing ear protection is for suckers. Thought 20-year-old me. Now at 55, I go to sleep every night with a sweet sound of tinnitus ringing in my brain. For fucking ever. Take care of your hearing, kids.
Probably the best advice ever given on hearing protection I've ever heard on this show. Dr. Progner, thank you very much for sharing your experience. I'm so sorry you have to deal with that every night. So I say to the younger people watching the show, yes, if you're going to band practice, please, for the love of Crom, put in some hearing protection. Or if you're going to a job, you work in an industrial site or anything like that, put in your earplugs. Please do not fuck around with your hearing. It is the only set of ears you are ever going to get. Don't take chances. I did 27 years at Chrysler. I've still got my hearing because I put my earplugs in every single day without fail, because I knew these things are precious. If you walk away from this show and learn anything, just learn this one piece. There's no undo button in life. You only get one shot. Take care of yourself.
Hey, in the spirit of being on a budget, how about a 2025 recommendation for recording at home? Mic, interface, and simple mixing solution along with a guide demo of using it.
Hey, Vaughn, thanks so much for writing in. I can't pronounce the rest of your name. My apologies for that. But I think that's a fantastic statement and question. And the fact I got 329 thumbs up on that comment means that there's obviously a demand for this kind of thing. I am going to revisit it. I'm also going to have something coming up in a big way, very much related to that. I'm going to have an announcement on that in maybe a month or two. It's going to be very cool, and I think it's going to answer a lot of your questions. Are going to check off a lot of your boxes as well. Stay tuned. In fact, I got something cool coming up on the show real soon. I think it's going to solve a lot of issues for guys recording and rehearsing at home as well, especially if you can't have a band practice where you want to crank things up. If you've got to rehearse silently, I think the solution might have just presented itself. Stay tuned for that. I just got off the phone with a gear manufacturer who's come up with a solution. I think it's going to solve a lot of problems for a lot of home musicians. I can't wait to show you what it's going to be. So do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It costs literally nothing to press that button. And that way you'll get reminded when that video comes out. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it if you're doing home recording. This is the big one, folks.
Damn, Glenn's literally crusading against the whole guitar community, and I love it.
I was revisiting that guitar pickup shootout video I did a couple of years ago, and that was probably the #1 comment on that video. And I thought that was hilarious. I'm not crusading against the guitar community. I'm crusading against unverified claims and old wives' tales. I'm just trying to help people make better decisions with their purchasing power, so they're not flushing their money down the toilet thinking they're going to buy something that's going to fix their problem when it's completely unrelated. I want better guitar sound. Oh, the ads say I should buy new pickups. I buy new pickups and my guitar sound doesn't change. That's a mistake that I think a lot of us would probably not care to admit that we've made, but I'll proudly say it right here. Yes, I bought new pickups hoping it would make a massive improvement in my tone, and generally that doesn't really seem to be the end result. Unless you've got noisy pickups. In one case, I had an old Jackson V, which would hum like crazy. I dropped in some EMGs, problem went away. But that's about the extent of it. More on that subject coming up right next on the Butthurt of the Week. Hit it!
I've been playing for 20 years, owned and had my hands on countless brands of tiers of guitars, but what do I know? The playability of a guitar or its components doesn't matter, because Glenn is a sound guy. I can throw on some gain, run through a vintage 30 and EQ after it, and I'm done playing, and everything before that is obviously irrelevant. Roll eyes. I'm done. You guys want to keep listening to this Jim Lil wannabe who barely plays guitar, let alone couldn't explain notes, anti-notes, and its importance of pickup placement, even on identical pickups, coil winding, QC, magnetized purpose, etc. Go for it. I will continue to play on higher quality instruments with higher quality components, fit, finish, and not look back at the lesser quality gear I've owned throughout the years as I've moved on from.
Well there, American Nationalist 852. Sounds like you're awfully fun at parties and clearly open to new and exciting ideas and new ways of doing things. Or not. Here's the thing, you mentioned the vintage 30 thing. Have you even paid attention to my show? I've been screaming at people for the last couple of years to stop getting vintage 30s and try something new, like greenbacks or blackbacks or hempbacks or EVHs or Hesu Demons. There's a million speakers out there that will change up your tone far more effectively than new pickups ever will. Now, while you are correct in your assessment that I can barely play guitar, that's absolutely fine. There's a million other YouTube channels out there with guitar players far better than I will ever hope of being. I'm totally fine with that. But you start bringing up technical jargon like nodes, anti-nodes. No, I can't explain that because it's completely irrelevant when we're recording, especially on high gain, let alone importance of pickup placement, coil winding, QC, blah, blah, fucking blah. All I'm going to say is this. I put some thought into this one, and I want you to answer this question. If pickups are so important to a guitar player's sound, why is it you can have a player like Zakk Wylde, James Hetfield, and Kerry King all have vastly different guitar sounds, and yet are still all using EMGs? Maybe you can answer that question for me, instead of spewing jargon.
I used to gut guitars and swap pickups all the time. Figured out years ago that it wasn't really worth the time or expense. Another thing that might have changed the tone slightly on the guitar shootout was the build of the guitar, meaning that might shift your picking hand towards the neck or back slightly towards the bridge. That would make it even more difficult to tell the difference between the pickups. Nice job, Glenn, and thank you for helping us not waste our money.
Well, hey there, blue-collar guitar player. Thank you so much for writing in. And yeah, that is the thing. It's like, this is a $305 guitar. It plays fantastic. It sounds fantastic. The pickups do the thing, and they don't feed back. What more do you really need? I mean, if I'm a gigging musician, I'd rather go out with something like this. So that way, if it gets lost, stolen, or broken, it's no big loss. It's only $300. That's better than going on stage with a freaking museum piece, where if you scratch it, that's going to totally ruin your vibe, ruin your show, and just ruin your overall vibe for the next couple weeks until you accept the loss. And yeah, I think you brought up a good point. You know, where we pick on the neck, whether up here or down here, that's going to have far bigger impact on your guitar sound than the pickup ever will. I just don't understand why viewers like American Nationalists get so upset that I show you guys how to save money and concentrate on the parts of your guitar sound that actually make a gigantic difference, especially if you're trying to figure out how to make sense of home recording. That leaves me scratching my head, and I just cannot figure that out. Once again, if you've got an observation, maybe I'm missing something there, why people are getting so upset that I'm showing them how to save money, maybe you can help me out here. Leave a comment. I want to hear from you.
I looked away from my screen just as you said, and I've got a strap on. I was like, what the fuck? And my wife was like, what the hell are you watching?
Why'd she come over to the screen? Was she looking for new ideas? What the hell are you two up to?
I'm a guitar teacher from Iran, and it's crazy. $300 is considered a cheap guitar in the States, but here, $300 is half a year of work. And here for my students, I'm always looking for secondhand Chinese guitars, and I actually find good stuff. So to all you, be grateful. Love with love from Iran.
Oh, dude, that's fantastic. First and foremost, I just want to give a great big shout out to everybody who might be watching this in places like Iran or the Middle East where, you know, we don't really have too much communication with. Thank you so much for writing in. I really, really do appreciate that. I'm grateful to hear from people from all over the world. And thank you for giving us a little bit of perspective. You know, sometimes, you know, we get so wound up in our bullshit, we forget just how good we have it compared to the rest of the world. So thank you once again for writing that in. And I'm sorry you guys have to go through so much crap to just get instruments. Somebody else wrote in that, you know, even if you can get a guitar for $300, you're probably gonna have to pay like $1,000 just to get it into the country. I just don't understand that as well. It's like, can you guys even do anything about that? Can you get a change in government that's going to open you up to the world market so you can trade with the rest of the world?
One thing people miss about Eddie Van Halen was that he was very insistent that he needed the best guitar tech. That wasn't because he believed only he had the secret to good tone. On the contrary, it's because he believed he needed help from experts to get that sound. And over his long career, learned a ton of things about those experts, so he had huge respect for them. Trust your engineer, people. They teach.
And a good engineer is always willing to learn new techniques. I mean, in the few months I had off there while my wife was making a recovery, I studied. You know, I started studying Andy Wallace. I started watching a bunch of different YouTube videos, doing some guitar recording, mix techniques, and that kind of thing. And recently, you know, I've really gotten into pedals, like EQ pedals especially, before the amp and in the effects loop. And I'm really liking the effect it's giving. It's definitely cleaning things up in a really good way. And I wish I had done this a couple of decades ago. It probably would have saved me a lot of grief in the long run. But now I'm starting to get results I'm really happy with. So just remember this, on your journey, you're going to have successes, you're going to have failures, but the learning should never stop. Because the minute you say, okay, I've got this figured out, that's when you lose.
With the amount of videos out there of isolated guitar tracks, there are plenty of references for guitar players to understand what they hear in the mix isn't just the guitar tone. I've noticed a lot of guitar players want to crank up their low end and not understand how much they're competing with the bass guitar. When I play the isolated track, they notice just how much low end is missing and start to understand that their job isn't to cover every frequency, but shine on the ones they really need to. Thanks, Glenn.
It's kind of in line with the last comment as well, and that's back on the video I did on the Master Effects pedals, which was guitar players, you know, stubborn or just allergic to good ideas. And again, me being a stubborn guitar player, I wish I had been working with some EQ pedals long ago. The crazy thing was I was doing that when I was 17 and just didn't even think about it when I started recording bands. Now here's something neat I just picked up this week. This is like a little $50 Canadian EQ pedal from a brand called Cadine, I think. And yeah, it's a 10-band EQ with the volume slider. It's a clone of the MXR 10 band, and it does the thing, and it's actually really, really great. It's powered by external power. I don't think there's a battery clip in here. They give you an external battery clip, which I would really recommend getting because this one is a little sensitive to noise. So using an external 9-volt will clean up your signal. But if you're looking for a cool way to make your guitar sound pretty freaking awesome for not a lot of money, yeah, this is actually really sick. It'll definitely clear up the bottom end on your guitar and leave space for the other instruments in your mix is kind of what you want to do anyway.
Hey Glenn, special shout out for helping a fellow YouTuber I follow on Scar My Guitar. He's giving you props for all the help you gave him when he got hacked. As a viewer, it feels great to know what kind of guy you are. I know you have a lot going on, and helping out a guy when he's down deserves that credit. Thanks, man.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Yeah, Sean reached out to me. He's like, hey, can you help? And I'm like, hell yes. I've been working with YouTube for 10 years, and we've got some pretty great people working at YouTube Canada. You guys know who you are if you're watching. Thank you ever so much for supporting us. And so I made a couple of emails, and we managed to get his channel back. I just hope that the situation were reversed, somebody would do the same for me. And that's how I look at it. You know, it's like we got to look out for each other. And I did the same thing for Steve T there a couple of years ago when he got hacked by some Chinese crypto scam. It was pretty insane. It's like you click on Stevie T's channel and suddenly, you know, you're seeing all this crap about Bitcoin and whatnot. Yeah, that's not great. It just sucks that there are shitty people out there who will hijack somebody's channel because they're greedy. Yeah, those people suck.
Thanks, Glenn. You're a legend, mate. Humbled by the kind words. Master Effects rules.
Hey, Lamb Chopper. Thanks so much for writing in. Yeah, Lamb Chopper was one of the channels I was watching kind of during my downtime there. I was watching some of his videos on the Master Effects pedals, and I was like, hey, you know what? I think those guys are Canadian. I'll see what I can do to help out. Lamb Chopper has a great channel where he explores some tones of some of my favorite records, you know, the Megadeth, the Panteras, Metallica, that kind of stuff, and he kind of shows you how to dial in that kind of thing. If you're into that kind of thing, I'd really recommend checking out his channel because he does that kind of shit way better than I ever could. He really gets down to the minutia and whatnot. I just want something that's going to sound cool and doesn't sound like everything else that's modern metal, because yeah, that's what's really going to get the fans to come out. The show is sounding exactly like all the other bands. Anyway, Lamb Chopper, check him out. He's awesome.
I didn't think I'd see Guitar Fetish appear on this channel. This site is a hidden gem for guitar nerds who wish to dabble in not only building their own kits, but scoring primo deals for pretty good gear. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm very impressed with that. Guitar Fetish does a number of pickups as well, and they even do a hot swap system. So I think I'm gonna revisit my pickup shootout video at some point with the Guitar Fetish hot swap system. I think that's gonna be really cool. And then I can show you guys just how much of a difference pickups make in the same guitar. Spoiler alert. Not nearly as much as the marketing is telling you. Especially if you're a metal player.
Hey Glenn, super glad to see you're posting more regularly again. Hope all is going well on the home front.
I'm going to be doing an announcement video on that in the very near future and bring you guys up to speed. I think that kind of deserves a dedicated video. Suffice it to say, yes, Julie is doing better. I get to spend more time in the studio as she's becoming more and more independent. She's really showing me what being strong and truly is about, and I am in awe of this woman, and I'm so grateful I got to be her husband. But thank you for the kind words, man. Update's coming. Think you guys are going to like it. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up there. Go have yourself an amazing rest of your day. Thanks so much for stopping by. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and stay tuned for what's coming up next week. Something really cool is coming out from Orange. I've been putting it through its paces, and I'm really, really liking the sound it's giving me, especially in context of a mix. I think it's a really cool product. Can't wait to show you what that one's all about. That should be coming out Wednesday or Thursday, I imagine. Stay tuned for that. I think you're going to like it. Anyway, have yourself a wonderful day, and above all, if there's somebody you care about in your life, go give them a hug today.